Welcome to another episode of The Raw Truth. I am your host, EX Bad Boy, as always, and today we'll be talking about reflections. Be mindful of yours. So today we'll be talking about Donald Trump and his taxes and reflecting on that. Now, no matter what, we already knew he was a liar. Nothing's changed. This is not a shock. And reflecting back on all his lies and reflecting back on the fact his whole base doesn't give a fuck what he says or what he does. This will not have any impact on anything. All this is good to know that at least we weren't wrong. And they're going to continue to follow him because he represents them. Okay? He doesn't represent America. He represents his base. And I know everybody says that all the time, but what's that supposed to mean? What that fucking means is they're racist, morons, and bigots, just like him. So he is their president. And for the first time, that's not just a cliche. He is their president. They are either ignorant, racists, and bigots that are following one, okay? Or they're living vicariously through him. We all would like to walk up to a cop and tell him, who do you think you are? But we're not trying to get into trouble when he's got a gun. Trump's above him. So Trump could turn and look that cop in the face that we want to look in the face and tell them, who the fuck do you think you are? Last time I checked, I was president, you're going to get fired. Could you say that to a cop and it be true and not get arrested? Of course not. Now, the racists want to be outwardly racist. They're tired of hiding how they feel. They want everybody to know they're racist. But they can't do that. Because you walk into a crowd of blacks and say something racist, you're probably not walking out of there. Same thing with a crowd of Spanish or any other races for that matter. You walk into a crowd of them, and it doesn't matter what color you are, but say something racist, you're probably not walking out of there. But Donald Trump, he's on TV telling the whole world his racist rants in his own little way. And you heard him at his rallies, if you've even watched any one of them on the news or on YouTube. He talks directly to them and about them. Who do you think lives in suburbia, in his opinion? Rich white people that are racist and scared of anyone darker than them. Who do you think he's talking to? His base. So what? His taxes came out. I was speaking to my son's mother today, and I told her about the situation. And I was like, he this and that, and this and that, and he's basically a felon if he's convicted or proven that he did tax evasion. She's like, he's not the only one. Everybody in politics is criminal. You can't compare one crime to another. You walk into prison and tell the prisoners that are there for murder, you're in there for killing a cat. You think that's going to get you any respect from them? No, that would more than likely get you killed. But you walk into the prison, walk up to the murderer and say, yo, I murdered these people or this person, and you'd get respect from him perhaps, unless he doesn't value your murder. My whole point is they're two different crimes, even though they're both crimes. So Donald Trump is a felon and is broke, not rich like he claims. He's just a puppet, a front man for the name Trump. He's very flamboyant, obnoxious, and draws attention. And he talks like some people want to talk, acts like some people want to act. He was the first person running that spent his time cursing. Politicians don't curse for the most part. I mean, they have said curse words, obviously, but not on a campaign trail. They don't act like a gangster, a hoodlum, a scumbag, a douchebag outly or outwardly. They're secretive about it. They say, oh, the suburbs aren't meant for urban people. In their mind, that means black people don't belong in suburbia. Trump flat out says black people don't belong in suburbia, more directly. So all these racist people will, yay, he's one of us, he's one of us. And those who voted for him in 2016 against their better interests figured that he is one of us. He's going to act like one of us. He's a New Yorker. Blind idiocy. And for the most part, those that should have voted didn't. Those who shouldn't have voted did. Is why he became president. Now, hopefully it's different. I'm not necessarily a Biden fan or a Biden hater. I don't swing either way. No pun intended. But the shit that comes out of my ass would be a better president than Donald J. Faggot-ass Trump. He's corrupt more than the rest of the politicians. And the reason why he's more corrupt than the rest of them, because he doesn't care that he tells you, I'm sticking my hand in your wallet, I'm pulling out your money, have a good day. He has no respect. At least most politicians have the respect to make up excuses. Like, all of them said that they wouldn't allow, even if it was a Republican president, in the last year of their term, to elect anyone to the Supreme Court. Lindsey Graham literally said, you could use my words against me. I'm a douche. Douche canoe. And all of them said the same shit. They wouldn't let a Republican do it. It's not about Obama and Biden. Not O'Biden. That'd be an interesting name. Who's running for president? Biden. Who the hell's that? Obama and Biden. I know they can't run together again, but that's not the point. I slipped up. But Biden did it again. Obama and Biden. It had nothing to do with them. Had nothing to do with him being black. Had nothing to do with being a Democrat, even if it was a Republican. And now they're all saying the complete opposite. If we weren't elected to do the job, then why were we elected to do the job? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Listen. The senators, or the Senate, was majority Republican, but the House is majority Democrat. So does that mean this country's set 50-50? Not one way or the other? In that bullshit scenario. So if they voted for a Democrat House and a Republican Senate, that's so one group didn't outweigh the other, meaning it wasn't all Republican or all Democrat. It's technically split down the middle, the House and the Senate. So they didn't elect you douchebag cunts to force Trump's appointee to the bench. You cocksuckers just want another conservative judge in there so you can get rid of abortion and you can overturn anything that is democratic or liberal. So you can make it your republic. which unfortunately has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with your power. This is the same problem with the police. It's not that police are good or bad necessarily. They have too much power. And when you have too much power, it goes to your head. I've had enough interactions with the police to say this for certainty. There's not one police officer, not one, on the entire force from coast to coast to, well, border to border, that if you disobey their direct order, aren't going to get upset, aren't you going to slightly overreach, meaning do what I say anyway, I'm going to make you do it. Just some don't stop reaching until they go through your chest and grab your spine. Then there's other ones that are a little bit rough, but it's just like with a child. My son, I love the boy more than life, but sometimes he needs a swift kick in the ass. Does that mean I want to hurt him or I'm a violent father? No. But words aren't working. What do you got left? Give up and walk away? Cry in a corner, hoping your child feels bad for you? Sometimes you gotta give them a swift kick in the ass to motivate them. Swift kick in the ass to put things in perspective. Sometimes you gotta give them a swift kick in the ass just to let them know you're serious and shit just got real. Cops do the same thing. They have to. Because if I believe you're unjustified because whatever stupid reason I can come up with, because you want me to do something and I tell you no, because I believe it's against the Constitution for you to do it. I watched this show on YouTube called Audit, The Audit. It also has another show, I Know the Voice, where he rates, not rates products, but talks about them. I was like, wait a minute, I know that voice. Anyway, I digress. And almost half or more of the people in Audit, The Audit, there are video clips of people interacting with the police. And this guy audits their interactions, which means from a third person point of view and not in the middle of the situation, giving proper perspective to look up the laws, quote them verbatim, and explain them. More than the person sitting in front of the cop, you can't tell me what to do because I think so. Now, they don't all do that, but there's a few of them that get real cocky. The one thing that cops cannot stand more than you breaking the law is you being cocky about it. Then they want to pull out batons and electrocute your ass because you're disrespectful and you need a whooping. Doesn't mean they should, but that's why they want to do it. Anyway, almost half to 75% that I've seen, and I quote, that I have seen, don't know what they're talking about. And these are auditors trying to manipulate their way into not giving the cop what he wants. And in most cases, it's really not that serious. They just ask, what's your name? You can tell them your name. You do not have to tell them your full name. Because they didn't ask, what's your full name, address, social security number, how many children you got. No, they just asked what your name is. Like, everybody knows my name. Now, I won't walk up to a police officer and tell them, hey, I'm bad boy. They're going to go like, what? But I will tell them my initials, because it makes up a name. Or I'll tell them my first name. You want them to treat you like a human being, you must present yourself as a human being. If you start off with conflict, then it breeds conflict. Now, when they cross certain lines, like, let me see your ID, Someone says there was a suspicious guy walking around here. You're the only person we found. Let's see some ID. Why? What crime did I commit? That's different. And you must learn each state what their laws are. But giving up your first name, that's just being petty. Now, I'll also quote, don't lie to them. Don't give them a fake name, because if it escalates so they get your identification because they find legal grounds and or arrest you because they're wrong about their legal grounds and they cross the line anyway, they will see your ID. And boop, you lied to me. Okay, falsifying whatever, and they lock you up for that. So, do I think the base that follows Trump is going to change their mind? I'll be honest with you. Maybe a few might. Like, if I found evidence that Trump was on the money, anything, not just conspiracy theories like, hey, you know, that could work in a really bad way. If I found proof that Trump was right about something, so far he hasn't been, but I would be like, okay, you know what? Trump's not wrong here. He may be wrong everywhere else, but that he ain't wrong about. And it might change my opinion on how much of a douchebag I see him as. But his base, or at least the people that go to his rallies, they cheer anything this man damn near says. This man told them all that the U.S. Marshals shot a man who was accused, not convicted, no evidence, shot him dead. And witnesses said that he was shot and the guy didn't even see the police. They didn't identify themselves, and he like basically turned around and got shot. That's a hit squad. That's not the law, because you must stand prosecution to prove your innocence, and they need to prove your guilt. You only get arrested to make sure you show up and make sure you don't harm anyone else in the public. If you're accused of a major crime like murder, abuse, domestic violence, they arrest you to save lives temporarily while you either post bail in some states or prove your innocence. It's a safety measure. I know it seems like they're just trying to take away your freedom, but what if they were right, you were the murderer, okay? Now, obviously, you're going to not care either way if you're the murderer. But they find out you are the murderer. And they let you out on the street after some questioning. We have to let him go. And you go out and murder some more people. They had you in custody. All they had to do was keep you, to keep the rest of the people safe. Now, you may say there's a thin line between that and fucking with your civil rights. But again, if that murderer or accused murderer, because when I finish the sentence, he'll be a murderer, that accused murderer was set free, goes into your neighborhood, and then murders your sister. I could have kept him, but because you're so worried about his civil rights, which weren't being violated, I had to let him go. Now your sister's dead. Or your brother, your uncle, your cousin, whoever else he wants to kill. You want to sleep with that on your fucking conscience? For what you assume is his civil rights? Because he was arrested and detained? Temporarily? And then you're a dick. So do I think his base is going to give two flying fucks? No. Not at all. Because they cheered at everything this man says, especially when it goes in line with abuse of power, killing anyone they're against, or anything racist. They go for it. Yay! Trump this, Trump that. Trump mentioned Hillary Clinton's name in a rally just the other day or yesterday, and the whole crowd screaming, lock her up, lock her up. What are you, fucking children? And he turns around and talks to the mic, I agree. Grow the fuck up, you orange canoe. You put douche in douche canoe. I don't see the sense in you being childish. He's like a kid with a fucking magnifying glass, and we're his ants. I go on and on about this. And you know why? You fucking douche canoes aren't gonna listen. You think he's the bee's knees. Trying to tell a racist they're a racist is probably the dumbest thing on the planet. I know this gentleman. We'll just call him Pop. Now, he was saying a few sentences that I tried to explain to him. Those are racist. You may not. At first I said they were racist. He goes, no, I'm not a racist. Well, you may not be, but what you just said is. No, it ain't. A black man tells this man that's racist. Do you know what this man says to me? What does he know? It took the black man, who will remain nameless, he knows who he is, and Pop will remain nameless too. It took him saying, dude, if you don't stop, you're gonna make me mad. For Pop to turn around and go, I'm sorry. Like I said, children and sometimes people need to be treated the same way. A swift kick in the ass. So now these are two different scenarios, okay? Same persons, but these happen, not scenarios, two different situations. One, the individual was told that the black man said that's racist and he needs to stop. He's, what does he know? So, while I was on the phone with the black man, this other douche canoe turned around and was doing it again. Now, it wasn't blatant racism like saying the N-word or saying racist words. It was just racist content that he wasn't understanding was racist. Then the black man, and I'm not laughing at that, I'm laughing at the way I say it, and the black man knows. Anyway, then he decided to have to be, he was felt forced to make a, I don't want to say idle threat, but idle at the moment threat to smack him on the back of the head, letting him know shit just got real. So it went from calm conversation one day to now I'm threatening to harm you, or you're not threatening to harm you, threaten that you're about to make me mad. But I'm sorry, that still sounds like a threat somehow. What do you think would happen the third time? Goes from being mad to being violent. Because children and people take words very lightly. And I know that's hard to say in these PC days. But they take your words lightly. Not the words you use so much, but like if I told you, you need to stop that. Like I told the gentleman, that was a racist. First off, I called him, telling him he was being racist. I'm not a racist. Well, what you just said is racist. So he was already told by me on a regular basis that talking like that is racist. And he's like, what do you mean? It's like anytime you start off with race in your scenario, you're being racist. And what I mean by that is the scenario is this. I mean, I'm talking in code because I'm just trying to be nice. So the scenario is this. I can't walk through a crowd of black men walking down the street because because I need to avoid the opportunity that it might get racist because, and I quote, black men don't like white men. Now, beside that being roarly ignorant and super racist, will add to it. So he goes, I can walk through a crowd of whites though. I had this, this was in one of my other podcasts. I don't remember which one, it might have been more than one, but it doesn't matter, this is the point. That's a racist statement. If it's safe to walk through a crowd of whites, it's safe to walk through a crowd of blacks or Spanish. He continued to say no. I said that's a racist statement because he's using their nationality, or in this case color, to explain his actions. Whether they're black or white, it's a crowd of men. I walk around them in general. Their color is irrelevant. The outnumbering is the problem, not their color. And they don't outnumber me because of their color. They outnumber me because they fucking outnumber me. And when I try to explain that to him, he's like, no. He kept repeating over and over again on how, no, because walking through a crowd of whites, there's no way anything racist will happen. Here's my point. You could still walk through a crowd of whites, and something can still happen to you if you're a white guy. Hey. Just like, even if you're a black man, you walk through a crowd of black men, something can still happen to you. Yes, being stereotypical. White people, hey, black people, yo. Because it's just as stupid as saying that it's safe to walk through a crowd of whites because you're white versus walking through a crowd of blacks because it doesn't fucking matter what color they are. And then it got into the further part on why they would be racist, because most black men are, I'm trying to sugarcoat things for him, but I can't. He said because blacks don't like whites. Oh my fucking God. There's a lot of whites that don't like fucking whites. They don't function that way. And ones that function that way are medieval and infantile. And what I mean by medieval, like not even old school, but like trapped in the old way of doing things. Or infants. Because when I see a crowd of blacks, I don't go, oh, I better hide my wallet, here they come. Move to the side, you're white. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Move to the side, there's a crew of guys coming down, you're outnumbered, don't stick out and you don't get hammered. Their color would be irrelevant because I would be just as concerned walking down a block into a crowd of white men outnumbering me. Most violence isn't about color. It's about who's got the power. I'm bigger than you, I'm gonna bully you. That's the theory. And even if I'm not bigger than you, the four of us are bigger than you, we're gonna bully you. That's the concept. Not all think that way, but in that scenario, it's safer to just walk around. Because what if they are bullies? But them being bullies have nothing to do with their race. Now, yeah, you're gonna have some infants and some juveniles and some um, medieval types that believe in the war of blacks on whites. Yeah, but in statistic sense, say there's 4 guys, there's probably one that hates you because you're white. That doesn't mean they all do. And just because that one does, that doesn't mean the other 3 are going to follow suit. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The ignorant um, Republicans. I hate to say that because it's the same thing as saying, "Oh, those black guys over there." I hate saying that kind of shit. You know, all Republicans or singling out all Republicans because of these Republicans. And I can't even say the Republicans in power because not all of them are like this. There are some Republicans that voted against Trump. Okay, we'll call them Trump's base because it is about people that are 6 offense for Trump. They're never going to change. Even after he's out of office, I'm preparing for a civil war of some kind. Even if he gets to stay in office, a civil war of some kind. If I was you, I would be cautious and aware, but not afraid. You can't be afraid of something you don't know. That's ignorant. I don't know there's going to be one. You don't know there's going to be one. It looks like there may be because it looks like it, but it doesn't sound like a duck yet, and it doesn't walk like a duck yet. It just wears a duck's clothes. On that note, I have to catch you on the next time. Please do me a favor, subscribe and comment. I like to continue conversations, but no one really wants to talk. I'm going to keep trying because I'm not a quitter. Please subscribe. I could use the help to keep this channel going. Money's not what it used to be. Let the advertisements help fund the channel. On that note, I'm going to be trying to come up with some merchandise. If you guys have some ideas on shirts, hats, keychains, something, I have a few shirts I want to make some. I didn't make this one, but I have a few ideas for shirts. Please hit me up, give me a comment, let me know what you think and what you might be looking forward to, and I'll see what I can come up with, and we'll go from there. But on that note,